Well, commodity soybean oil has been a standard, highly used oil for a long time because it's been made functional by the addition of a process called hydrogenation that stabilized the oil. Unfortunately, after this hydrogenation process, to increase its functionality, trans fats are created, and some research has come to the conclusion in the last 10 years or so that trans fats are actually very bad for human consumption and increase the risk of heart disease, and so should be reduced or even eliminated from our diet. And so the research problem is really about maintaining soybeans' ability to be utilized in the food industry, but doing that in a way that doesn't involve any trans fats and also still makes a very functional, stable oil.
One way to improve the oil where it won't have to be hydrogenated is to increase one of the fatty acids in the oil, and that oil is oleic acid.
Oleic acid is a monounsaturated fat. It's considered a healthy fat.
We've been in pursuit of a non-genetically modified high oleic soybeans for about 30 years, and it's been elusive.
About 3 years ago, my colleague discovered that some soybean plants that he was developing through crossing actually did produce a high oleic oil.
We've been able to increase the soybean from a normal of about 24% oleic to as much as 80%. And we've done this through traditional breeding.
And so it shifts away from the unstable portions of the oil into a healthy, stable portion, but it doesn't increase the saturated fat content, so it seems like the perfect balance. And my part of the research then was to determine what genes were responsible, and I think the big breakthrough for us was that not only could we create the target, but only 2 genes controlled it, which would make breeding for the oil much more simplistic.
When we found the 80%, it was like, hey, these occur naturally. We're not going to have to go through, spend $100 million to get it through regulatory. Anybody can use these 2 genes.
It was very exciting to find the high oleic oil and to figure out pretty quickly what genes were involved, and in some sense to be proven right that it was possible.
We're making pretty good progress now, and I think in 3 years we can have some real competitive soybeans. Now, because of the high oleic acid, soybeans won't have to be hydrogenated anymore. It'll be heat stable. The consumer can be assured that the oil that goes into that food, that he won't have any trans fat, it'll be healthier. It'll have many more uses for the food industry.
I think the benefit to the food companies is that when they are making decisions about the ingredients that they use, they'll have a functional option in a high oleic soybean oil for their frying applications or some of their baking applications that will be stable but have sort of more nutrition benefits than some of the alternatives available now.
Soybeans, they're naturally going to be more competitive. They're going to compete with sunflower oil. The premium oils like olive oil, sunflower oil, canola oil, they're going to be much more competitive. So there'll be more demand for them. You can cook longer with the oil, at least double. It's not going to break down as fast. It's just going to be healthier. They don't have to worry about that anymore. It's zero. They won't even have a fraction. No trans fats, none. I think that's the key.
What I like is this idea that the consumer probably won't have to make a choice. If we can deliver the oil to the food companies, they, it seems to me, will make an obvious choice to include it in their food, and then Americans will be sustained by that food and their lives will be enriched.